Hey, welcome to The Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love. I'm Julie Ross, the creator of the award-winning curriculum A Gentle Feast, a homeschool veteran of over 20 years, and a certified Christian life coach. Charlotte Mason said, life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time. So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. So go get your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You're welcome at this table. Hello, welcome to today's episode of The Feast Life. So what if you could turn your child's biggest blunder into a belly laugh and maybe even a taco? In this heartwarming and joy-filled episode, I sit down with children's author and illustrator Eliza Kinkz to talk about her delightful new picture book, Miss Taco. We dive into how embracing mistakes, playing like a kid again, and sharing stories around the table can unlock healing, creativity, and connection for children and parents alike. Whether you're looking for a fresh perspective on family life or just need a reminder that you don't have to do it all, this episode will leave you smiling and probably craving some Mexican food. So grab a tortilla or some chips and guac and come join us for today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome to The Feast Life. I'm your host, Julie Ross, and I'm here today with Eliza Kinkz, children's author and illustrator, and we are going to be talking about her new book, Miss Taco, today. Did I say that one right?
Yep, Miss Taco, perfect.
Miss Taco, yes, I love that. So fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
If people are watching this on YouTube, they will get to see your amazing illustrator space. Definitely can tell that's what you do for a living. So fun. So I'd love to hear a little bit, like, how did you start illustrating children's books and then write your own? What was that journey like?
I've always been a storyteller, like since a kid. Like I loved to listen to the stories my family would tell around the table, and then I would tell my own versions of the stories again to like them, and they'd be like, "The story sounds familiar."
Yeah, I got a great one. Just listen.
Exactly. And then when I got to school, actually in kindergarten, they had an activity. A lot of times the kindergarten teacher, because they're managing like a large number of kids, they'll have different activities going on. So it's like, and then they'll have rotation. So like maybe today you'll be doing like playing at the kitchen. This table will be like doing some math worksheets. And one of the tables that week was make your own book. Like my teacher had folded some pages in half and just set them out and write your own story. And I did that activity the first Monday and I like loved it. I just remember just feeling it. I was like, I could do this all the time.
That's awesome.
And then so I did. You're supposed to switch the next day.
You're like, nope.
I just stayed at that table all week. And of course, it's easy to miss that when a kid's being nice and quiet, really into what they're doing.
Yep.
It's easy to miss that until you get to the end of the week and I'm supposed to have 5 different projects. And instead I have 5 different picture books.
That's awesome.
And I love it. I just it kept that love of it. And the teacher, I shouldn't mean to discourage it, but she's don't do that again.
Right.
And then I think I took it to mean, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this too much. And then, but so it's funny. It's like I did art as a kid, but I went away from making picture books for a long time.
Wow.
And I went to animation, but it's still the storytelling thing. Like after high school, I did animation and did my own animation films. And I went to UCLA and continued making animation films there and went to work in the industry, but I just was never comfortable. Like when you don't feel at home, you don't feel like you fully belong. And so when I had kids, I became completely, like many parents, completely brought back into the world of picture books. And like you're surrounded, you're reading them all the time and you're reading them on repeat as well, because kids will have their favorites and you start memorizing them. And I was just like, I'm loving this format. And I'd always, when I was in animation, I'd always look at picture books and think to myself, why can't animation look like picture books? And it never hit me until once I had my baby, which that causes everything, right? That causes
Right.
everything to switch. Once you have a kid, everything like
It all changes, yes.
yeah, all changes. It's like your brain like flips over inside. And so I was like, oh, this is what I should be doing. And I was like, this is way easier than spending 3 years on an animation studio, doing a picture book. And but they are deceptively easy. Looking like you think
Mm,
it's easy, but I think it's one of the hardest art forms to do is picture books
really?
because you have to be so perfect with 32
Mhm.
pages. It's like any mistakes immediately glaring. Like any
Mhm.
words that aren't fitting in
Mhm.
immediately, and anything that's flowing, not flowing right, it's
Yeah.
just you can tell because there's books that you don't mind rereading, but there's books that you definitely do mind rereading as a
Right.
parent. You're just like, please don't choose this book again.
Oh, I don't know where that one went. What? What
I know
book?
exactly. You like try to hide it.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's really encouraging for my audience of homeschool parents to hear that because, and I feel like this happens sadly very often. And again, our teachers aren't trying to discourage us. I'm sure your kindergarten teacher wasn't trying to discourage you, but in our little egocentric little children minds, we take things to heart so much, right? And it can be so discouraging when you feel like something where you found something that just is passionate and lights you up. But that's so cool that you were able to see that as an adult and go, okay, I'm not going to keep going down the path that I have been career-wise that isn't as life-giving as it could be, and find something that brought you joy as a child. I love that. I think that's just really inspiring. And I think it's really fascinating what you said about picture books being one of the hardest art forms because I use a lot of picture books in my curriculum. I love picture books with little children. We're so blessed to live in a time where we have these picture books
Oh yeah.
that we can tell these amazing stories through words, but also through illustrations for little kids. So, as you went to go write your own book, so you're not just illustrating someone else's words, what was the artistic process of melting a story, but then also visualizing it for you? Was it more or less difficult to do your own?
It's interesting because some illustrators, like it really depends. Like I do believe all illustrators have stories in them, but I feel like I came from a place of always words and pictures were always with me. And so I was always writing and illustrating at the same pace, which I think ended up being a longer journey to get the images and words out of my head because when it's like you're doing two things at
Yeah.
once. It's like easy to be really good at one thing if you're just focusing on one thing, but if you're focusing on two things, it's a slower journey, I believe. And so when I was doing picture books for this one for Miss Taco, like I'd already written a bunch at that point, and then I ended up hooking up with a really wonderful literary agent, and we worked together for 2 years on the story.
Wow.
And before that, I would, I just would be so in love with whatever I made. I'd be like, this is perfect. It's like, why improve on the wheel? It's really great. I just like super high confidence, which is great for putting yourself out there, but
Absolutely.
not so great for improvement. And so he would actually be like, let's change this, or what if we take this out, or this thing isn't feeling right here. And so I'd be like, at first, you don't know anything. And then, but say that to myself. And then I would go back and I would redo it. And I kept doing it again and again. And the experience was amazing too, of not being scared to toss out something that you're in love with. It could be holding something else back.
Yes.
And it's a very hard thing. I mean, that in life too, tossing out a darling. It's something that you really love. But I'm a big believer if it's something in a storyline or a character or whichever that you love, if it's really meant to be, it's going to come back somewhere else down the line. It may not be the next book. It may be like 5 books down the line, or it may not come back. It may be, maybe it goes out there in the wind and it's
Yeah.
somebody else's idea. Somebody else knows how to use it in a better way than you could have ever imagined. And so I think that was a real gift that my literary agent gave to me, is learning not to be precious with
Mm,
my books. And
yes. I'm sure that's very hard though, because that's like your baby.
it is my baby. Oh my God. When I see one of my books out there, I'll be like, come here, sweetie. I love you. I even one time I had like an awkward moment with a bookstore owner where I was like, I was like talking to my book and I was like, I'm gonna hug you, book, or I'm gonna hug you. I said, and then my
That's so
bookstore
funny.
owner was like, yeah, I'd love a hug. And
Oh,
I was like, okay, I'll give you a hug too. And then I'm gonna give my book an even bigger hug.
I feel like that about some books that I just love, and I didn't write them. So I can only imagine how much more you have when you have put
Oh,
blood, sweat, and tears and lots of hours and caffeine into something.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah, for sure.
So let's dive into this book. So I love it for two reasons, multiple, but the big two are I love Mexican food. So I love
Oh
that
yeah.
it's themed with tacos, and that I also love the message as a life coach who coaches homeschool moms, this concept of making something good out of our mistakes. So where did that come from for you? And how
So
did you decide to put those two Mexican food mistakes together?
oh my gosh. So that came from me as a kid. And me, it like took me a long time as an adult, honestly, to talk about things. If I did something wrong, I would just hold
Mm,
it all in. And I remember as a kid, I would get stomach aches all the time.
mm,
And there was another graphic novel. Gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Like I think it might be, it's part of the Friends series by Shannon Hale. There's like best friends, but uh,
okay.
one of the characters talked about that. Just I saw myself in that. Like if something bad happened at school, I wouldn't come home and talk about it. I would just hold it all in. And then I'd also be blaming myself for it, which it's like we're all humans and we all make mistakes. And the more we share them with people, the more we realize other people make some mistakes. And we're not holding it in and hurting ourselves, because that was like the mistake was wanting to get out. It was a stomach ache.
Yeah, right?
It's like, hey, let me out of here. And share it with your family and let them talk about like stuff they did. Because that's the thing, we all can relate. We all do stuff. We all do stuff every day. It's not, and that's the thing as a kid too. And I feel like a lot of kids think this. They think adults know everything. And we know, it's like we're just kids. Like, honestly, we're just all kids pretending to be adults. We're all in these trench coats. Like,
Yes, right.
like that's what I feel like. We're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And yes, we do, with a lot of experience and a lot of mistakes. And I think that's one thing. I'll go into schools, I'll go to school visits and I'll talk to kids and I'll talk about mistakes and I'll be like, how does a mistake make you feel? And I'll like, what is a mistake? And they'll tell me mistakes they've done. They'll tell me like, oh, it's when you do something wrong, but you don't mean to. Or, oh, I did a mistake on my schoolwork. I was supposed to do this and I did this. And it's just like, they're all already starting to let it out. And then I'm like, how does it make you feel? How does a mistake make you feel? And then they'll be like sad, mad, and just the mood will suddenly turn somber,
Mm,
like from it being a really joyful mood just a
yeah.
second ago. And then I'll change it immediately and I'll be like, after that, like these moments, I'll be like, what's a taco? And then the mood just goes through the roof all of a sudden because everybody's excited to tell me what a taco is, what their favorite tacos are, how they like their tacos, how many tacos they ate, how many they've dropped on the floor. Like it just goes like all over the place with the kids. And then I'm like, how does a taco make you feel? And then all the kids are like, happy, this, full, hungry,
Yeah.
and they're all excited again. And then I'm like, what happens when we put a mistake with a taco? And I think that's magic right there because all the kids are like, it's like the taco basically eats the mistake
Yes.
because, and that's been such a wonderful thing is seeing how something that brings you such joy in life
Mm.
can make something that you feel shouldn't bring you joy a joyful thing.
Mm.
And so I'll be like, well, what are you going to say when you make a mistake? Or what do you say when you make a mistake next time? You're going to say, like, all the kids are like, I'm just going to say, I want a Miss Taco. You
Yeah.
know? And it's like making a mistake, but in a way, it's rewarding that you tried.
Yes.
And I think that's a very great lesson or message for kids,
Oh,
really.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's something that gets trained out of us. When you're little, you take steps and you fall down and you mispronounce words, and everybody's great job, keep going. But then suddenly you get to an age like you at 5 and you make a mistake in school and you're wrong. That's not correct. You shouldn't have
Yeah,
done that. And then you get afraid to even try things because you might make a mistake. As opposed to little kids, that's all they're doing is trying, and that's how they learn. As humans, that's how we learn. Kind of like you with your editor and your illustrating editing process. It's not like you turned out the version that you just showed me on the first try.
yeah,
It's a continual process and changing, making it better and making improvements and thinking about it. But that's how like it is to be a human too. But we don't allow ourselves to make that because then we do experience the embarrassment and the shame and the sadness because we feel like we shouldn't make those.
exactly.
No, that's actually normal.
Yeah. And
That means that you're trying and you're living, right?
yeah, and I think we start holding on to that as adults because we're living in this age where all of us are like, look at my perfect spaces. I definitely
Yeah.
didn't throw up earlier today because I ate like a bad like linguine or something. We're not really, it's like we're living in this age where we're seeing these
Only the perfect. Yeah.
only the perfect, but it's we're not seeing real life and real humans and just and
Mm.
talking to one another about it. I think that's the thing also with the book is like I wanted to give families a real activity that they could do together to connect because
Mm-hmm.
connection is so important these
Oh, yeah,
days.
so important.
And honestly, like any families that do miss taco night, I've been hearing so many good stories of it's just like kids are just like and this and this and their parents are like, I had no idea that they were holding all these things in or these things from
Mhm.
forever ago.
So explain the concept of the book and what do you mean by Miss Taco Night?
Oh, yeah. So in the book, I should just read, I'll read the synopsis real quick to make it very
Okay.
easy. So after an awfully embarrassing day at school, don't even ask about the pudding cup. Izzy feels like chile con caca and wants to be left alone. But it's Friday, and that means making tortillas with Lita and Lito. Only, ugh, the tortillas won't roll out right, and Izzy's frustration builds with each mistake until tears and the truth come gushing out. Luckily, Lito has a big secret to share. Everyone makes mistakes, and he has a brilliant and tasty solution, which is Miss Tacos. So I'm going to read one of my favorite parts in the book. This is about like how what you can do for your taco night. Is Lito makes a Miss Taco with Izzy. So Izzy thought adding a mistake to a taco was totally loco. And so Lito says, so what you could do here, get your tortilla at the table. So you got all your fixings for taco night.
Mhm.
Different ones can stand for different things. Like you can come up with your own family of
Yeah.
what it can mean. So first the tortilla, the base of the steak, and then you can scoop some frijoles. I call them fearless frijoles. Fearless And because you're showing you're fearless by sharing your mistake, right? And then a questionable amount of queso, which is the cheesiness, right? Mistakes are like so cheesy too. Like some of us holding on to these mistakes and we're like, they're just like nothing.
Yes. Right.
They're like hilarious. We're like, why would you hold on and feel bad about that? And it's
Yeah.
not, it's, and you shouldn't be ashamed if people laughed. It's, they're
Right.
like, they're laughing because they're wanting to comfort you. They're like, oh my goodness, you should hear my mistake. This is
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
to. And that's what's amazing is like when you're with your kids and they're sharing it, it's like you need to use this as an opportunity to say stuff that's happened recently to you because we all have stuff. We all have, oh my gosh, like I took somebody's shopping cart at Costco the other day and I was like horrified. I didn't know how to find them. It was just like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just took somebody's shopping cart. And like, where's my shopping cart? I was like about to check out when I realized it. And I
Oh
didn't know how to
no.
do it.
Like,
And I
that's
was
not
like,
my stuff.
oh my gosh. And so that would be my mistake. I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I feel so
Yes.
bad. Oh my gosh. And then finally some spill your gutsy salsa. And so it's like I just spilled my guts to you.
Yeah.
And then what I can do is even at this point, it's like we have all the ingredients ready to add the mistake. And then the kids can go up to their taco and whisper their mistake. They can be like, what is it? At school, I spilled my yogurt all over the floor and I used one of the sock puppets to wipe it up with next. Like it's just, and I just put it back.
Sounds like
Like,
my kids.
yeah, and my kids do.
And then they eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eat it.
And it's
And then
gone.
it's
Yeah.
gone. It's all gone. The mistake's all gone. Or you can even share it. You can make it for the other person. You can tell them like this is mine. You guys can trade. You can make each other the tacos, like the
Yeah.
parent. And this is something I think you can do from such a young age and
Oh, absolutely.
even to forever. Like I've heard people having Miss Taco nights with like their teenagers and stuff like that, or just grown adult kids, because it's
Yeah.
really funny hearing because you just go meet people or see your family again. You're like, how are you? Good. How are you? Good.
Yeah.
But
I'm
really,
fine.
that's a chance to be real.
Yes. I love it. We all need some Miss Tacos in our life. But I love like the metaphor of it and the picture of it, but also just a way to, like you said, bring your family together,
Yeah.
talk about some things that might be hard to talk about. And that definitely came across in the story of just the importance of her family and the importance of her grandparents. I think the importance of like even just sharing a meal together is very rare these days. And so having taco night on Tuesdays or whatever is going by the wayside, but even to make it even more meaningful. So I'm curious, like how much of the story was somewhat autobiographical with your family, your heritage, like
Oh,
you growing up, did you have a pudding incident?
yeah. No. Oh my God. I would have died.
Okay.
I think all of us would die at the idea of sitting on a. I think that's every kid's nightmare to look like they pooped their pants,
Yes.
right? Nobody wants to look like they poop their pants ever in their life, like for their whole entire life. Once you realize what pooping pants is, the
Yes.
minute you understand it, you're like, no.
Yeah.
But kids love that joke in my book.
Oh, of course they do.
Proudly.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is based on like my family, but it's like the story's completely made up.
Yeah.
But it is based on, like I said earlier, of how I would hold in my mistakes and how I wish I'd been brave enough to share them when I was a kid,
Mhm.
or had a way like this, like a tool like this to feel comfortable sharing, where I could hear other people. Because when you hear other people sharing, it makes you feel braver. It's like the first people
Yeah.
to do and act, raise their hand in the classroom. It's like everybody gets braver and then till everybody's raising their hands.
Mhm.
And I would make tortillas. That's definitely true. Oh, this is a very good one. So that's what the whole basis of Miss Taco was. My Lito and would be on the side while my Lita and I were making tortillas together. And usually I was the one rolling them
Okay.
because she had arthritis because of rolling so many
Yeah.
tortillas. You're rolling tortillas like 3 times or more a day from like the age of, I don't know, 2 or something. It's like you're going to develop arthritis. So I don't roll tortillas that much. I have to save my hands for my art. But my lito would be on the side because I was little and I would just roll all these weird shaped tortillas. They know, and they're still to this day. I cannot roll around tortillas. And my lito would
That
always,
sounds very challenging.
yeah, it's very challenging. And so I would just, it would be all different shapes, and he'd be like, "Don't worry, mamita, I will eat that mistake." And I'll eat that mistake too. And really, he was just trying to get away with eating as many tortillas as possible. Like, that's really was his goal.
Yeah.
But it always
So they
stayed.
did call you Mamita, like the girl in the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they would, and yeah, and he would, but that stayed with me, the mistake thing. And I always thought that was very funny. And so when I started writing this book, it was based on those memories. And then from Spanglish, the word Miss Taco came about. And I was like, this is such a good word because it's also like my taco. If you
Okay.
take Spanish,
Okay.
then, but then it's like mistake plus taco. And it just sounds like a word that's been waiting to come into like our culture, like here in America, of just, it just sounds like the perfect word to celebrate
Yeah.
when something goes wrong with something. It's cheers, like a taco cheer. I did this, cheers, a
My
crunch.
daughter works at Domino's Pizza and she gets to eat a lot of Miss Pizzas.
Ooh, oh, I bet. Oh my
Anytime
God.
someone makes a mistake, like we're always excited when she comes home from work because we're like, "What you got?"
Oh my God. I'll have to write that down. That
All the
sounds
Miss
amazing
Pizzas we get. The
because I've actually
next
talked
one.
to, yeah, I've talked to kids at school visits because some kids will actually say, "Oh, I don't like tacos." And I'll be like, "That's fine." I was like, "Figure out what your mistake food is."
Yeah.
And so I've been meaning to make a worksheet as well for kids, which I'll have to send you one of my worksheets
Okay.
because I have a worksheet that goes with the book.
Yeah, that's
But
great. We can
I've
put that in the show notes.
been
Yeah.
for kids to make their own food, design their own food. What would be your mistake food?
Oh, that's really cute. I love that. No, mine is definitely chips and guacamole.
Oh yeah.
So tacos are perfect. I can live pretty much the rest of my life on just chips and guacamole and be completely fine. But that's so precious that you have that sweet memory with your grandparents and that you were able to bring that into the book. That really came across. I thought it might be a little autobiographical because the heart was so apparent that you really probably had. I'm like, she probably had this probably has this kind of relationship with her grandparents. So that's really sweet. So throughout the story, she goes from being like reserved and quiet and self-conscious to being confident and laughing and enjoying this funny kind of event with her family. So what are you hoping that like kids and families are going to get out of reading this?
I think that like confidence and like confidence in both the parent, not just
Mhm.
the kid, but the parent in sharing their mistakes, not trying to be like look like everything's going right for the kid. Be honest
Yes,
that we still make mistakes as adults and we're still learning. Like I feel like if we model that we are still learning the rest of our lives,
100%.
it makes it not seem like I have to finish learning by this specific time.
Yes, we don't close the books and have everything all figured out. When
Yeah.
we graduate from whatever we graduate from. That it's and especially as homeschool parents, it's you're learning alongside your child and they need to see you learning and but also allowing your kids the freedom to make mistakes, to not feel the pressure to always have to get everything right and perfect the first time. But it's the mistakes that actually help them learn and grow. And if you don't freak out by them, they
Yeah.
don't freak out either. And allow them the kind of growth and space and freedom to explore something because very few things ever were created perfectly the first time. I can't think of any actually. All the inventors and all the things that we enjoy now came through a lot of mess and failures.
Yeah. My book, Miss Taco Alone, I was honest, it took like over 2 years to make this book. And it wasn't constant work the 2 years, but it was like putting it down, putting it away and letting it sit. Because sometimes when we come back to stuff, it's like all of a sudden it's
We need to take the break and not keep pushing. So how have you grown through this process?
I feel like what's been a
Because I
wonderful,
know like it's not easy to put your work out in the world. So it is a
it's so easy. It's not stressful at all.
no, it's a walk in the park.
I think I've learned through putting myself out there more now as an author and illustrator is what are my limits and paying attention to them
Ooh, that's good.
and being very kind to myself, like doing a lot of self-care
Mm.
and not being upset or judging myself if I can't do it all.
Mm.
It's like a learning process for us all, right? When we're starting a new career of what are our limits? What do we love to do? What do we not love to do? How can we support ourselves so we can keep going? What brings us joy? And what is taking away from the joy that just we don't need in our lives and it's not benefiting that. And so I think I've really come to work hard on my self-love for myself through making picture books. And it's been wonderful too, because then I get to go visit schools and visit kid groups. And then I feel so much love from them. And then anything I put out there too, as an illustrator author, I always think, I want this to be for kids. Like I'm doing this for kids. I'm not doing it for the purpose of selling my books, honestly, to keep going, not to sell my books. But
That's a nice bonus.
yeah, it's a nice bonus, but it's like anything that I do, it's for kids. They're my audience. And I've gotten very rewarded by that because I had a librarian recently tell me a kid picked up Miss Taco and was like, they were like, this book is for kids.
Oh,
And and it's like a lot of some picture books do not feel that way, honestly. They feel like they're trying to maybe hit a kid over the head with a message,
yes.
or or it's just the same kind of story. And so for a kid to realize that was my goal. It wasn't for my publishing community, it was for them. And that's what I want with every book I make.
That definitely comes across. Uh, Okay, how do you write for a kid when you no longer are one?
Oh, because I'm secretly a kid.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I actually have a sticker on my water bottle that says fake adult because that's what I feel like. I'm just like, how did I get here? Mom of two kids and have my own studio. I feel like I just want to like still go to the playground and just roll around in the rocks and hide in like a space on the jungle gym. I don't think I've ever given up my silly spirit. I just still feel it. I still feel the same joy that I did as, gosh, do I have a picture? There's a picture of myself. Of, let me see if I have it in my studio. Here's one of them. Like just me. This is still me of
Oh my
like,
gosh, I had that same exact shopping cart.
yes. Oh my God. Just the shopping cart and I have sunglasses and
Yellow
like,
and orange shopping cart. Yes.
yeah, that's still that I feel that same spirit when I'm creating books. And so I
So is
think
it that you never lost it?
I
Like I
think
think of parents and a lot of ones that I work with, they feel like they've lost it.
hmm,
They
I'm
don't have that joy and that wonder and like it's just coming out of your pores.
it is. It is
It
coming out of
really
my
is.
I should
Yes,
bottle it.
I can feel it.
I should bottle it and
The
like
things though that you think made it possible for you to still have that? Or do you have practices or things that make you feel more like a kid or more of that joy? Does it ever feel like it ebbs and flows?
I do have moments where I do. It's like I get because I do have anxiety and depression. And what I've done is really I pay attention to my moods.
Mhm.
And I'm very fortunate that it's because of the work I do, it's very on your own schedule, but that's also hard because
Right.
I only had to work nights and weekends for a
Mhm.
long, like before, for when the schedule gets really hard. But I do try to, I'll get on the floor. I'll be on the floor and then I'll get on the floor with kids and I'll just be right at their level, talking with them and just asking them, like just listening to them and having conversations. And I have the same respect for a 2-year-old's opinion as I do my like a 45-year-old's opinion.
Yeah.
And the same as for a 92-year-old's opinion. It's like I just really listen and I think it's just find ways to put yourself at their level. Remember stuff that you loved as a kid. Like it's because I think a lot of it can be a little bit of disconnect because everything is so different now
Oh yeah.
of what kids are into. And so maybe get out a Barbie doll and brush its hair. Just do something like read a Babysitter's Club book.
Oh yes.
Like the old one, not the
Yeah,
graphic
yeah, no, the
novel,
new ones are,
old one. Read the
yes.
one that you reread a
Or
bunch
the
of
old
times.
Nancy Drew compared to the new Nancy
Yeah.
Drew. I'm like, what
Read,
happened?
reread one of them that you reread so many times because one of the characters got a kiss. Like,
Yeah.
and or it's get a dollhouse and just play or play with your kids' dollhouse and it's tell a story. And you could just even use a story from a sitcom you watch, like How I Met Your Mother, and just have the characters get out and stuff like that. And just change it around so it's definitely kid friendly.
Oh,
But
right.
but it's I think look for those opportunities of play and that play, whatever play works for you too. It's
Yeah,
because adults need to play as well. We need recess.
100%. So do you still break out the shopping cart with the, you were all
Oh my
dressed
God.
up in that picture?
If I had it, I'm so jealous. I wish I could get that shopping cart again. I do miss my when my kids were young enough to get the Trader Joe's shopping cart because I loved going through the store. I was terrified they were going to take out somebody's kneecap because oh
But yes, no, I still like to go to thrift stores and
yeah.
the craziest outfits we can find and picture, and because I used to dress up all the time.
Oh yeah,
Like thrift stores are like adult approved ways to play dress up.
yeah. Oh my God, they're so good. Oh
But we need to find that. And as adults, it can be so hard. But I think that's why your book is so great because you could tell like you are thinking like a child, and the pictures and the way you put the words on the page with this is how a kid would write and this is what a kid would how they would feel and where they would put themselves. And after working with lots and lots of children, I definitely see that. Oh, yes, you got into their head. So I was wondering how you did that.
oh, and you know a thing too is I actually volunteer. I mentor at a local elementary school.
Okay.
I think getting into a kid's space, like of
Mhm.
some sort, is a really big thing too, to remembering how to play. Because you're around kids that are just like, kids are like skipping in line or just, and it doesn't have to be that. It's just like figure out something that works for you.
Yeah, I know. I think that's great. And I think a lot of obviously they're homeschooling, so they're with their kids, but you can be with your kids and you're doing laundry and they're playing, or you're with your kids, but you're thinking about the 55 million things you need to get at the store and you're missing out on the playing. And so it's, do you allow yourself to skip with your kids when you're going into Trader Joe's? Like, do you allow yourself to stop doing the dishes because they're playing with these dolls and that looks really fun, even if it's only 30 seconds? It's not like we think, oh, if I stop doing this, the dishes will pile up and overtake the house. It's like they're still going to be there. But 30 seconds, you're still going to get those finished. But in that moment, you can reconnect with a part of you that I think a lot of us lose.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so true. Yeah, skip everywhere, everybody. That's my advice.
Skipping makes everything better. And then when you come back, make a Miss Taco and talk about all
Oh
the
my
things
God.
that didn't go well.
Perfecto. Perfecto.
Awesome. So, what kind of words of encouragement would you like to close with today? I would love to hear what you would tell my people.
I think take care of yourself because it's tough raising a kid in this world. And I think we as moms often forget to take care of ourselves because we're so focused on taking care of everybody else. And so if you're packing the kids a snack, make sure to pack yourself a snack too. And treat yourself to a nice snack. You don't have to eat there.
Not goldfish.
You don't have to eat goldfish. You can get yourself some nice crackers and like a nice cheese at the store too. You don't have to eat their leftovers. It's treat yourself just as well as you're treating your kids.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. So your book's on Amazon. Yes. Okay. And then how else can people connect with you?
They can connect with me at my website, elizakinkz.com. And I'm also on Instagram, Eliza Kinkz. I've been very lucky that I've managed to keep my social the same at most places. And I always love getting emails from kids too. So always feel free to message me, especially if there's something they want to draw, because I'm going to start putting some drawing videos up soon.
Oh, that's wonderful. And those will be on elizakinkz.com?
Yeah, and also YouTube, I have Eliza Kinkz.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, I would definitely check those out. My kids love to draw and illustrate and that kind of thing. And we'll put a link to the book and a link to the worksheets in your website in the show notes as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
All right, let's wrap up with some key takeaways. So number one, Miss Tacos can help kids and adults process mistakes playfully. Eliza shared how her childhood experience of holding in her feelings inspired the concept of Miss Tacos, a taco that you make to eat your mistake. It's a powerful metaphor that transforms shame into connection and self-compassion through fun, storytelling, and food. Number two, perfection isn't the goal. Creativity takes messy, brave steps. Eliza worked for 2 years on this book, revising the story repeatedly with her agent. She talks about the importance of letting go of perfect ideas, being open to feedback, and trusting the process, even when it means tossing out something you love. Number three, make mistakes a family practice, not a private shame. Families can build stronger bonds by sharing their own Miss Tacos at the dinner table. When kids hear adults admit their own goofs, like taking someone's cart accidentally at Costco, it models vulnerability and growth without fear. Number four, you can stay connected to your inner child. From thrifting playful outfits to rolling around on the floor with your kids, Eliza shares how she keeps joy and wonder alive as an adult. Her advice to parents: skip with your kids, play with dollhouses, and let go of the idea that everything you do has to be productive. And number five, you deserve care too. Eliza's closing encouragement is simple but profound. Pack yourself a snack. As homeschool moms, it's easy to forget to care for ourselves, but giving yourself the same compassion and nourishment you give your kids is not optional, it's essential. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. See the show notes if you would like to go get your own copy of Miss Taco and her worksheets that go with it. And I appreciate you all listening. Have a wonderful day. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, please heart it down below and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment and let me know what you learned in today's episode. I'd love to hear from you.